Go for it. Oh, hold on. Nobody can hear you, buddy. It was working a second ago. Eh. Oh, okay. You guys are just real quiet. Oh, no. Is that you? I mean, you're registering, but in a weird way. The gods have seen fit to allow me to live another day, and I'm going to make it everybody's problem. I think so. Go ahead and do your thing. I am way louder than everybody, though. Go ahead and do your thing. I'm gonna mess around with settings. You should be heard, though. Okay. Well, this is... You're good. This is just on stream. It's registering. It's just not...
Yep, I could. Yeah, every time Bear talks, I can hear him. It's really funny because it's just like, oh, random comments.
Yes.
All right, I think we're good.
Oh, I can hear us.
Yay!
Huzzah! Let me make sure I can hear everybody. Words and stuff.
Testing, testing.
Ludema, say something.
Gotta go off mute though.
You're muted though.
Okay.
There we go.
Can you hear me? I was trying to time it in between meows.
We don't mind the meows.
Yeah, the meows
I
is
can
fine.
hear Ludema. Fluffy.
Yes.
There you are. Sorry, I have to wait for the delay.
Delay is a pain in the butt. All right.
Luckily, it's on my computer versus my phone. When it's on my phone, it's like 20, 30 seconds, so.
Oh, Christ. All right.
Yo, that's why my comments are so delayed when I'm, like, watching you during the weekdays.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's bad.
All
But
right.
we're here.
Well, thank you everybody for your patience and us fighting back the tech gobbles.
Every fucking time, I tell you what. Every time. Anyway, Brian, take it away.
And also welcome all of you for joining us on an earlier game of Gravendale. We had to do a couple little scheduling changes for life issues, and then once we had those changes, other changes were made. But regardless, we are here now. Woo! So please, if you're enjoying this, have your coffee. If you're on the West Coast, I don't know, or have your brunch and enjoy, or just watch. We appreciate it. Where we last left off, you all had traveled into the Badlands in search of some missing people that were that you found information on as far as where they may be or where their fates last took them deeper into the Badlands, and so proceeded on a bit of an unusual caravan of sorts as you were transported on the back of a ginormous spider with a mansion on its back deeper into the Badlands. But eventually you did depart deeper into the what are kind of referred to as sort of the Great Wastes or what have you, which is a kind of a large deserty kind of barren area, and proceeded to enter into or head towards a location referred to as Kaltoris. You were approached by a couple of giants who ultimately escorted you to the ruins of Kaltoris, as it was a kind of a city swallowed by the sand ages ago. But you see that they bring you to kind of an arena sort of area where there are many giants watching a fight take place, which involved, Tink quickly recognized, involved Calander, Tink's friend. Calander? Yeah, I said that right. Hey! But what seemed a little bit more disturbing for Kai personally is as you arrived and entered into kind of the stands of the arena and kind of overseeing all this, Kai noticed something unusual, sort of a drawing presence to a object seated at the edge of the arena, a large kind of stone throne that looks like it's actually made out of a different type of stone, more of a black basalt as opposed to kind of the sandstone that you kind of see really everything else kind of made out of. The leader of these giants, as it were, did we do something?
No, everybody's here.
Okay, then I'm just blind, sorry. But the leader of the giants was sitting on said throne, but you definitely noticed and were kind of drawn to this object. And then also you heard a woman's laughter in the background, kind of cut through everything, almost like you're hearing it more in your mind than necessarily out loud. And you seem to be the only person to notice this, at least as far as you can tell. AKA the rest of you do not hear this. And I believe you were just beginning to, I believe, have some discussions with the giants, and so we'll kind of start at that point. So what you were all brought forth to this sort of arena, and which is surrounded by a ton of giants. Probably, easily, like at a quick glance, you're guessing 30 to 50. And you do hear them make several comments. They are all more or less speaking in giant. And some are making some comments and kind of pointing at things, and you hear one word kind of being used over and over, which Ekris, I believe, actually can speak giant.
That is correct, yep.
Which I don't know if you translate Ekris, but a lot of them do refer to Kai as a runt. Because while he definitely shows that he has giant blood, he is probably half the size that these giants are. Roughly.
I don't know Kyle that well at this point, so I don't know that I would translate that for fear of insulting him, and yeah.
That's fair. You see the leader of the giants, or what at least what you assume to be the leader, is they are sitting on the throne. Kind of holds their hand up to kind of quiet everybody down, and then kind of gestures for you to sort of kind of step forward.
Kai's going to step forward. Meantime, the voice that he heard in his head, do I recognize the voice?
Yes and no. Like it seems familiar, but you just can't quite. It's like when you got that tune stuck in your head, but you can't quite place exactly the tune or the name of it or who sung it or the words, but you've got it sort of stuck in your head.
Sure.
It's kind of like that nagging thought when you start to think about it, is like you recognize it, but you don't know from where. It seems familiar, but you can't quite put your finger on who it is.
Great. Evil earworm. That's exactly what I needed today. So step forward.
The laughter after a few minutes does go away, so it's not like it's a constant thing.
Yeah, that's helpful. I will kind of glance around, and I will... Can I glean, based on the hierarchy, what I'm seeing, how people are deferring to each other with like an insight check or a history check, the kind of hierarchical structure they have in place here? Like, obviously the leader guy's on the throne, but is like...
Sure. Go ahead and, yeah, I'd say go ahead and make a... Yeah, I'd say go ahead and make an insight roll.
Okay. That'll be a 24.
Okay. So usually what you're used to as far as sort of giant kind, as far as what you know, what you recall, is usually it's kind of the strongest leads, and it's sort of a might makes right thing, and they're usually kind of a tribal, more of a tribal situation, and admittedly in much smaller groupings, typically. They're kind of like a tribe or a clan, like I mean, you've maybe seen these numbers before with like ogres.
Sure.
That tend to breed like rabbits, at least in giant, compared to giant terms. But there's something a little bit different about this place. I mean, you have a pretty good sense, even without necessarily understanding the language, that, you know, some of these giants are making some rude comments or whatnot, or making some insults that some laugh at, you know, a little bit when you guys kind of first entered. I mean, with an insight roll that good, I mean, you don't have to necessarily know the language to understand when they're, you know, someone says something pointing at you and they all start to laugh. You can read between the lines a little bit. That being said, it does seem to be a little bit different in this approach, especially with the giants. Granted, some of these giants are what you've heard referred to as sand giants, which usually run around in deserts, hence they're not very common in Solano, like, at all. But you've heard of them. And they seem... And for the most part, they kind of keep to themselves. They're not inherently violent or non-violent. They're just kind of desert nomads for the most part. But the kind of the other half of the giants that are here are giants that you're more familiar with, which are more like hill giants, which are usually big, kind of dumb brutes that like to eat people. And in fact, you do see as he kind of motions you forward, you do see kind of down in the base of the arena, the fighting pit area. You do see the blue-skinned tiefling kind of head off through a gate, and you see there's probably 4 or 5 smaller people who go in and put the elven woman or the half elven woman that was fighting the blue-skinned tiefling, puts her on a litter of some kind, and as you're kind of skirting around part of the arena, I guess to kind of approach, I'm assuming the leader.
More or less, yes.
You do see that litter gets brought up to one of the giants, who kind of picks up the dead corpse in kind of victory, and then proceeds to just.
As we're approaching, I'm going to turn to Ekris. And in common, I'm going to just... I need you to verify something for me. Have they acknowledged my giant blood in any way, shape, or form?
Ekris says, well, they call you a runt. I'm sorry, but that I think that means that they have.
That's good. That's very good. So he will step forward and he will kind of cast a look. He will step ahead and kind of in the general direction of the leader, but he will kind of cast his gaze over the assemblage kind of in that vicinity. Is the leader a sand or a hill giant?
That is a great question. The leader is actually a hill giant.
Okay. So as he kind of casts his glance around, he once again to Ekris, I need you to translate. And I need you to say exactly what I say. No embellishing, okay?
That won't be a problem.
So loudly he will then announce, I came here looking for a leader, but I don't see one here.
Ekris says that, and I have to make a point that Ekris... I think I said this before, while he stutters in common, he does not do so in giant, and he does his very best to impersonate the tone of Kai.
Thrall just quietly says in the background, so you're trying to get yourself killed today?
He just kind of laughs every day.
Dama's like, oh, I've got firebolts ready. I'm ready. These are slavers and they're murdering. I'm ready.
I don't disagree. Just... Really? That's our tactic?
Pink just kind of sinks into like a very casual but very ready, ready to kick some ass position if needed.
That's fair.
Fuelon is like trembling. You can just see him vibrating, ready to go.
Ekris, you as you begin to translate, you see the giant that is sitting on the throne starts to laugh, and just kind of rolls back in the throne a little bit, laughing, kind of big deep belly laugh, and you see, because like everyone can kind of see the tension of the group. With what you said, because you're guessing, even though they're all speaking giant, some of them probably do know common. And so after the leader starts to laugh a bit, you see the rest of them kind of sort of this nervous, like, what's going on? Okay, we'll go with it. He's laughing. It's okay, kind of thing. It's like, and you see after laughing is like, what is your name?
Is that in common or in giant?
In common.
Okay. So at that point, when he speaks and addresses Kai directly, his gaze will then finally fall on him. Who are you to address me? What's your name?
Crap, now I gotta make up a name.
Yes!
I am Kreskel.
I'm Kai.
Where do you hail from, Kai?
All over, most recently Solano. The North.
Ah. I have not been.
No, it's clear.
What do you want here?
Your throne.
You see, kind of looks over at everybody and starts to laugh a little bit again. Admittedly, you have much courage for being one so young.
I'm older than I look.
So you want the throne. What do I get?
Your
Should
life.
I win?
Your life. And to keep it.
I'd like your slaves as well.
I mean, you can have them if you...
If you're cocky enough to come in here and ask for it, demand it, I think the least you can do is give me your stock.
If you can keep them, they're yours to keep. If.
Very well then. Choose your champion.
I could be a real dick and choose Fenrir right here.
Now, was this all said in common, or was this all in giant?
This was all said in common.
Quaylon just turns to the guy and, like, staring at him.
Kai will turn. As much as I would love, Fuelon, to ask you to do this, I think for my purposes I'm going to have to do it myself.
We do not shed the blood of our own kind here. That is the rule of Kaltoris. We are above such petty things.
Are we? Or are you just a coward?
You lead with anger. I see our kind up north have fared no better.
Kai turns and looks at him very calm. Do I look angry? What you have done here is reprehensible. Keeping intelligent, sentient creatures as chattel. So you tell me, of the two of us, who's the monster?
Our kind used to fight each other brutally for everything. We held so little because we thought so little. But when we came here to this place, we learned. We learned wisdom, insight. We learned that we are stronger as a community. We learned that it is best to be a community. So, giant blood will not shed giant blood. Choose your champion. That is the rule.
You learned so much and yet so little. You're not saving lives by doing this. You're just transferring the blame to somebody else. You're taking the agency away from other living creatures. And you do not have the temerity to stand up and defend that stance. You're a coward. And you're not worthy of any kind of rule.
Uh-oh. Hold on for just a moment.
The sound is coming through. It's just everybody other than Adam is really quiet.
Gotcha.
Can fix that.
Okey doke.
I have to max out my volume to hear Bryan.
Which probably meant, especially when Adam's speaking with power at their moment, he was probably really loud.
After all, he has giant blood in his veins.
Yes. Feisty giant blood.
It's that family, not gonna dox myself, but it's that family blood. That loud, booming voice.
Feisty giant blood.
Feisty giant blood. Okay. I've maxed out your volume, and I'm going to pull mine back.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to do a quick audio test. How am I
Yeah.
sounding in comparison?
I mean, I hear you guys just fine on this end. I don't know when it's come through on the stream.
Okay, Lady of the Fae, can you hear me? Now we wait for the lag.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Excellent.
Cool. Nothing like tech gobos to interrupt a poignant moment.
That's yeah, well, you know.
At which point, Kai will then turn to Fuelan. You may go. Whoever they send, don't kill them.
And Fuelan turns and strides forward.
Okay.
This feels icky.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
Did I see where Calandra went? Where she was taken?
Into the tunnels below the arena. You and actually you do see that by now she has come up, because you see like each of the giants maybe has a couple people sort of the smaller folk attending to them. And you see she kind of sits down next to one of the giants. And then kind of looks over at everything that's going on, and then eyes kind of widen as she sees you. But then you see she kind of quickly keeps her eyes down and then kind of glances up towards the
Yeah.
giant above her, and then just kind of keeps her eyes down, like not continuing to make eye contact.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have a clue. All right. Very well. Our Our northern brother is challenged for the throne and is chosen as champion. Who wishes to accept this challenge? Who would like the honor? And proceeds to kind of scan the group, and you see some of the giants kind of start sort of shouting and talking to each other and having conversations as they're kind of negotiating things, and you know, most of them, and you see some of them are kind of eyeing up Phelan, who I'm assuming Phelan, you probably just kind of hop into the ring.
Yeah, he'll just kind of most direct line there. He just kind of beelines it. He is still in full human form.
Right. Which admittedly makes them... You get a sense that they're a couple like, well, the man's half naked. He's not wearing any armor. He's only got an axe. This is going to be easy.
Nope.
But you see some of them are like, no. That's all a ruse. Like, there's something else going on here. Like, don't be an idiot, you know. I guess, Ekris, from your standpoint, since you can hear Giant or understand Giant, the conversations that they're having as far as this, you notice are, for lack of a better term, a bit more intelligent than what you would maybe expect from a giant.
All right. I'm unsure what I'm going to do with that information right at this second, but I will keep it in my head.
It's hard to, well, and it's even hard to kind of, but you just kind of realize that they're talking more strategy. They're talking more, kind of more negotiation. They're talking more tactics. Like, it's not just a, you know, Hulk smash, turning into pace, fee, fi, fo, fum kind of bullshit.
Sure. Okay, makes sense.
Now, granted, some of them still don't necessarily sound like the most intelligent of creatures, but I'd say their conversation is more like, I guess, regular folk than what you would expect for, I guess, what you could equivocate to as your stereotypical dumb giant, for lack of a better term.
Sure, of course. Cool.
And Tink, I need you to pick a number on a 6-sider.
A number that's good for me or a number that's bad for me?
That's bad for you.
1.
That was cocked. Okay. So they, after much haranguing and kind of yelling or whatever, ultimately a person is sort of offered, for lack of a better term. Let me find said person, and then we will begin. Ding. But ultimately, they choose a champion, but you see this kind of very large, muscled, very scarred human that they refer to as Krakus. Krakus the Annihilator, apparently.
A lot of K names in this area.
A lot of K or well, we'll say his is with a C, but yes, a lot of cut names because my brain farts. It's early. Damn it. Anyway,
I'm just giving you shit. It's fine.
What race did you say he is?
he appears to be human as far as you can tell. He's very doesn't seem to have a whole lot of body hair in general from what you can see, but it is armored.
Okay.
With like some leather armors and has like a shield and a spear.
Once he is kind of selected and locked in as the champion and steps out, I'm going to use a bonus action to shift into my hybrid form, and I want to howl and intimidate the fuck out of him.
Okay. For right now, I'm just going to use Bear's Mini as the...
That's fine.
Works for me.
And actually... we'll maybe try to get it a little bit closer so it's a little bit easier to see.
There we go.
I just realized that I hadn't turned on the map cam, so you all can see it on the stream now.
Yay.
Granted, I still realize that the minis just look like dark things. So you are here. The Annihilator is there.
All right.
And with that, you see the leader roars, "Begin!" and roll initiative.
Yeah, fuck him up.
There we go. 17 with a +2.
Okay, so you will go first.
Beautiful. I will bonus action rage, move action, move right up to him. And then standard action, I'm going to try to swing at him, but I'm going to try to swing with like the flat of the axe, like swing it sideways.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any like...
The cool thing about 5e is that you can just decide to do non-lethal. There's no penalty to it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
That's super handy.
Yeah, you can just decide not to kill somebody.
Yeah, the penalties last time in previous editions were annoying.
Yeah.
And I will be attacking recklessly.
Okay.
So, advantage. Total of 19 for the first attack.
19 will hit.
So that will be... Oh, wait. Hold on. How much bonus damage do I get as a barbarian at this level? Make sure I don't forget that.
I kept doing that when I was Jaegering Barca last week. It was a pain.
Okay, so I'm still at just a +2. So, 11 damage for the first attack.
Okay.
And then the second attack with Reckless Strike. Ooh, 17 to hit.
He's going to use his reaction to parry, so that will miss.
All right. And that will be Fuelan's turn.
Sorrel leans into her friends and goes, I want to cheer Fluffy on, but I feel like that's giving into the other guy's game.
I agree.
Kai, out of the corner of his mouth, kind of just says, just play it real straight. I want.
Oh yeah, that's me.
I know, but
Fenrir just howls for Fuelan.
I agree. While this is happening, Brian, I am going to be racking my brain trying to figure out how I know that voice, or see if I can glean any information just based on the chair on the throne.
Sure. Go ahead and make Oh, tell you what. Let me finish the combat round, then I'll have you
Yeah,
worry about
if-
rolls.
Anything that I need to do, you can have me do at the end of the round. That's fine.
So Phelan, does a 25 hit you?
Yes, it does.
So he plunges his spear into you for 11 piercing.
Okay, so halved.
Does a 20 hit you?
It does.
And pulls it out and kind of swings it around and does kind of a slash across your chest for another 11. But I doubt a 10 hits.
It does not.
And then kind of tries to come in with a kind of a to shove you back with a kind of a nasty shield bash to the face, but you manage to kind of dodge that.
All right.
And it you can tell this Practice the Annihilator is not pulling any punches.
It's fair.
So Kai, for you,
Yeah.
I would like you to make a history. Yeah, we'll go a history roll.
Okay. Uh, 19.
Okay. The woman's voice, well, or laughter, as far as trying to identify it, is still very much a mystery. Again, it seems super familiar, but just not, it's on the tip of the tongue, but you just can't quite place it. That being said, as you kind of look at and analyze the throne, you realize the throne has nothing to do with the laughter in and of itself. You realize that because a lot of the markings on the throne they have almost kind of like a writing on it, which, granted, you don't necessarily. I mean, you understand it as some form of writing, not necessarily that you understand what it is, but almost kind of more of like a cuneiform style of writing. But that the chair, the throne, is literally covered in it. But what's kind of more interesting is as you start to look at those runes, you realize in your mind they start to form and change a little bit until you realize that they kind of morph a little bit until they turn into common, actually. At least to your mind. And it says, "This is the seat of judgment, the throne of Kaltoris. And you realize, just from the vibe and the hum and everything that you're sort of getting and feeling from it as you approach it, that this chair, this throne, is has a lot of power to it and is an artifact of some kind, is your best guess."
Okay.
Which, as far as you know, I mean, as far as any of us really know, because means that it was most likely created by the gods at some point. Like, you're able to kind of suss that much out.
Gotcha. I have stuff to say, but I will save it for the end of next turn.
Then it would be top of the round, Foylan.
Excellent. I'm gonna take 2 more reckless attacks at him.
Wonderful.
What you doing?
Do, do.
Oh crap, those are reckless. Damn it, I should have. Okay, well, that's alright. I'll worry about that next.
First attack is an 18 to hit.
He's going to use his reaction to parry that one, so that'll be a miss.
All right. Oh shit. And only a 12 on the second attack.
And a 12 will not hit. You swing in with the axe the second time, and he brings his shield to bear and blocks that one pretty fully.
Blarg.
Okay.
All right.
So I think this time... Yeah, he's still feeling pretty confident. You only got sucker punched him the one time. Sucker punched him. Okay, so that's a nat 20.
Mm.
So that'd be 15 damage, piercing damage with the spear.
Yeah.
Does a 25 hit you?
No, it's actually too high. It's above the range.
That would be an 11.
Fluffy's AC follows non-Newtonian physics.
And then does a 23 hit you?
Yes.
Okay, so he does manage to hit you with the shield. That'll do 9 bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make a strength saving throw. DC is 15.
I got a 16.
Okay. He smashes you back, and you get the idea that this guy's fighting style is to kind of knock people to the ground with the shield and then stab the crap out of them. Is
Gotcha.
kind of his modus operandi.
Okay.
So that would be the end of the round.
Muted is not helpful. I had an idea, but it went right the fuck out my head.
That's fair.
Actually, no. To Saral, probably in Draconic, because I think you speak Draconic.
Yes, I do.
He will kind of turn to her and kind of say, "This throne is some kind of artifact. Can you figure out what it might do?" It's a little outside my wheelhouse.
Too bad I don't have things like detect magic or anything like that. Can I like look at it and do a knowledge arcana kind of thing, or I don't know if.
Yes. Admittedly, the DC is going to be very high, though.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I don't have any of the spells for, like, detecting magic or anything like that. I got knowledge, history, and religion, but my best thing is arcana, so.
Actually, I would say you could go ahead and make either a knowledge, history, or knowledge, religion.
But which one would be better?
Well, admittedly, gods, other than the current triumvirate, haven't been around for however many thousands years that Godfall happened, which I know it was a while back. I forget exactly. I want to say 1,000-ish years.
It's super 10,000 years.
Or 10,000 years. Okay, so 10,000 years. So, I mean, you have some unique insight in that there were times you were maybe even around those times to have a sense of what to roll. So, really, in that sense, you're kind of
Okay, is there
kind
like
of a perfect choice, really, now that I think of it, which is great. But anyway,
is there like a reroll goodie? Do I have something that makes me get to roll things again?
is there any channel points for a reroll?
Because when the die looks at you and goes, "Yeah, you're the perfect one," but now you're just thinking about toes.
At some point, I'm going to do channel points for I'm going to do the plot armor thing that was done in the Wednesday stream, and I'm probably going to do re-rolls, but I haven't done it yet. So
That's fair.
Why have you not done this?
Because he's playing in the game. I saw that tongue.
I rolled
choose wisely.
I choose to roll again.
What? No. What skill did you roll?
I used history.
Okay.
But it doesn't really matter because of how bad the die rolled. So I got a total of 6. It was a bad roll. So maybe next round I can think harder and think about it for a little bit longer. Because this round I probably don't have much.
Okay. With a 6, you don't remember much other than vaguely remembering that there was a fairly prosperous city at one point in time named Kaltoris that existed pre-God War or Godfall. That's about all you got on that one. I mean, granted, a lot of that is kind of like also evidenced by the fact that you're currently standing in the ruins of said city.
I just look at Kai and go, wait, say the name again. Kaltaris?
Kaltoris.
Kaltoris. Kaltoris is a dead city pre Godfall? I'm thinking. Hold on.
okay.
And with that, we will jump back to round 3. Foylan.
Oh, Fluffy.
Right. This guy tried to knock Boylon down, but 2 can play at that game. So as one of his attacks, Boylon's going to use the shove action.
Okay. And I believe that is athletics, right?
It's athletics for me, and he gets to choose athletics or acrobatics.
Oh, he will choose athletics, yeah. But the beauty is, you get advantage because you're raging.
Do I really?
Any strength-based check?
Oh, that's right.
It pays to be angry.
It does. So I guess 21 for me on my check.
Yeah, he got a 16, so you beat him.
I knock him prone.
Okay.
And then I'm going to regular attack since I get advantage on it anyways.
You sure do. You sure do.
Oh my god, terrible rolls though. 13 to hit.
Even with advantage?
Even with advantage, I got a 3 and a 6 on the die.
You chop down with your axe, but he starts to roll out of the way a little bit. Unfortunately, that will miss.
Okay. And then Fuelon is going to start doing more wolf tactics. He's going to use his movement to move 45 feet away.
Okay. He will try to take a swing at you, but since he's prone, it will be with disadvantage, I believe.
I believe so.
And the 9 will not hit you. So, out of more desperation than pure aim, he kind of sweeps out with his spear, almost more to trip you than to actually stab you. But proceeds to, I guess I can put him down, and then you go 5, 10, 15, 20, 45 to like there.
Yep, 45 feet.
Okay, and he is prone. All right. So on his turn, he will get up for half of his movement.
Mm-hmm.
And, he doesn't have that great a movement compared to you. So he's going to, he's going to take a moment to sort of ready his spear, aka ready an action to attack if you come into melee.
Okay.
And so it kind of does that sort of Spartan stance a little bit, and to kind of gather his breath a little bit. And as soon as he does that, you just hear all of these boos come out of the from all the giants as they're they kind of want to see y'all tear into each other a bit more than that.
That's fair.
But that would be the end of that round. For the rest of you, is there anything you'd like to do at the end of the round before we head on to the next round of combat real quick?
I think is just trying to like analyze kind of the layout of like the arena, like the seating, to see if he can plot a course to and from Calandra, like the least likely to die course.
Yes, we'll say some of the movement would take you kind of on the edge of,
like on the edge of the arena. That's
the
fine.
edge of the arena.
My acrobatics is good.
But you do see you can figure out a decent path. Like you've kind of figured out a decent path where even taking in those factors of when people move a little bit from side to side, how to kind of get there, you think you can plot a pretty decent course that I would say, let's see, what's your movement?
45 feet.
I'd say with where you're standing, you could figure out a way to get to Calandra with a move.
Okay.
But it would probably require like an acrobatics roll at some point, because you'd have to do some dope monk shit.
Yeah.
Parkour.
Yeah.
But yes, you can figure out the path. You got that.
Okay. Perfect. And she taught me the dope monk shit, so I'm assuming she would be okay to get back with me that way, more or less, if needed.
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. That's what Tink is doing, and just kind of not like stare at her, because he doesn't want to be like gawking or make it super obvious, but like definitely scanning the crowd and kind of trying to like look in her general direction and, you know, make sure she's okay and she's etc.
Okay. And as far as for the rest of you, Megan?
Ludema's also scanning the crowd just because maybe her father is mixed in with this large gathering instead of the Silver Tower.
Go ahead and make a perception roll.
Let's see. 12.
Granted, there is a lot of chaos with the giants sort of cheering and being a little rowdy as they kind of see what's going on. You see some of them are throwing little bits of trash in the arena, which may include some severed appendages that were partially chewed on.
Ew.
So for what that's worth, I would say for the it does seem to be primarily the hill giants that seem to be partaking of the cannibalism. The desert giants, not so much.
But no real obvious sign of Jaren because of all the chaos.
No, because of all the chaos, and granted, you're kind of, trying as best you can to ID, green or gray skin that's kind of stereotypical of orcs, but you do not really see that. In fact, most of the majority of the slaves that are here are probably human. To be quite honest, with a scattering of other races.
Kai is going to try to get a sense of what the sand giants' take on all of this bullshit is.
Okay, go and make an insight check.
Uh, 22.
I mean, there are some that are kind of cheering on the fight. They in general, they tend to be sort of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, kind of nonplussed. They're just kind of watching.
Okay.
They don't necessarily seem to be as into it as the hill giants, but
all right.
I think if that Ekris is going to prepare an action, if possible, that if Waylon drops, Ekris is going to whisper a small prayer to himself, aka channel divinity, preserve life, and dump 15 points of HP into Waylon. If it comes to that, try to do it very surreptitiously. Okay. But if it comes to that, Ekris is just going to have that back up in his pocket.
Gotcha.
Sorrel is staring down the throne again.
Okay.
And racking her brain.
So go ahead and I'll allow you to now make a religion roll if you'd like.
They technically roll the same, so.
I know, but you've already tapped what knowledge you have of history.
Well, slightly better. I got 10 this time. Not great. Apparently I'm distracted by the events at hand.
You don't quite recall. You vaguely remember something about that it was maybe rumored Kaltoris was ruled by like a god king or a god emperor, kind of that sort of BS. But, since a lot of nobility says they're divinely chosen, like you remember it was... You remember vaguely a title, but you don't really remember much else than that. Because, again, it's been, 10,000-ish years.
We've been tasked to hydrate, friends. So Solancha, Lady of the Fae's exact quote was, "It's been an hour. Drink."
Thank you, Lady of the Fae.
I will point out, I have, if people want to refresh their streams, I have added channel points expenditures for rerolls and plot armor. Plot armor specifically works if a character is on the brink of death, you can save them from death, and it's on the GM to come up with a way for them to not die. It's a little less of a problem in 5e than it is in Pathfinder, but it still happens.
How many points did you put for those?
The reroll, I think I put 1,000 or 500. The plot armor I put at 5,000.
Okay.
So it is a weighty expenditure to do the plot armor.
I have plenty of points.
I have
to
so
help
many
us.
points.
As do I.
And I do too, which means this fight's gonna go forever. No, I'm
I
just
will
kidding.
point out.
Right.
I will point out rerolls are available to the GM as well. So if any
Right.
viewers want to fuck around with the players, that is absolutely an option. But yeah, so that is available.
No.
Rude.
I have unlimited channel points as the moderator, so I will not be spending them because that is unfair. But yeah,
And I admit I will not be spending any points because I'm too busy running shit.
Aha!
And I will probably not spend any channel points because I will forget they exist.
I will remind people as we're going to be keeping this mechanic. If Brian's okay with it, I'd like to keep it for Zaya too.
Sure.
But we'll remind people at the beginning of each stream. So.
All right.
Fair enough. So then I believe we are going to be at the top of the round again. So Phelan, you get to go first.
All right. Phelan is going to use his bonus action to move the 45 feet back up to the dude.
That is just sick and wrong, sir.
I
Do
know.
that
I
as a
love it.
bonus?
I can do that as a bonus action.
Fancy
Delightful.
pants, man.
Oh.
Dope barbarian shit.
Actually, that's dope werewolf shit.
Dope werewolf shit.
I'm down for some dope werewolf
Aw.
shit.
And then
Somebody
Phelan
needs
is going
to clip that
to.
exchange, by the way. The dope barbarian. No, it's werewolf. No, dope werewolf shit. Somebody clip that, please.
And then back up against him. Phelan is going to recklessly attack him twice.
Okay. Oh, and actually, he is going to pop you with his ready action.
Okay, he does not get advantage.
Okay. That being that one. All right.
Beautiful. So first attack is a 24 to hit.
Yeah, he can't parry that.
So that will be 14 points of damage.
Oof. Come on, Brian, you can do math. It's only 11:21. You should be awake now. You said 14?
14, yes.
Okay. Got it.
And then the second attack is a 26 to hit.
Yeah.
And that will deal 10 points of damage.
Did you sage your dice in between turns?
No, it's just
Did
how
you
it
stage
goes.
your computer between turns?
No, I just finally started remembering to fight like a wolf.
And with each successful hit, you're just howling.
Mm.
I dig it.
And then, as a move action, he will move 45 feet away from him again.
Okay, that will...
It will provoke, and
Provoke.
this time he will get advantage because I've recklessly
this time
attacked.
Advantage. Does a 20 hit you?
It does.
So that will be for 11 piercing.
Okay, halved because I'm raging.
And you're going 45 again?
Yep, 45 again. Because this way, he can really only effectively do 2 attacks against me at most, one of which would be at advantage. And I get to attack him twice with advantage. Fucking wolf hunting.
He is yelling in frustration, but he's also looking pretty injured as well. But seeing how fast you are moving and realizing that there's not a whole lot he can do about it. He is going to continue to ready an action to attack you when you get within range, and then
That's fair. I figured
that's
there were...
about all he can really kind of do at this point.
Yeah, that's...
Meanwhile, the some of the giants are roaring curses, epithets. Some are cheering. One, you hear. I mean, everyone hears Fenrir howl. You see one of the giants throws a leg of something or someone at him, and you see Fenrir. Nice, nat 20. Just catches it and starts chewing on it, staring the giant straight in the eye. What are the rest of you doing?
I, at this point, just turn and look directly at the leader guy and just not quite full on Dwayne The Rock Johnson style, but just raise crooked brow. Crooked eyebrow, that's it. And just kind of stare at him.
Okay. Are you trying to intimidate or?
The look is meant to kind of convey you're probably in trouble, but that's more or less it.
Okay. And you see, for the most part, he's been kind of ignoring you up to this point, as he's been kind of intently watching the fight much with everyone else. But you definitely notice he glances at you. He doesn't really acknowledge your glance, but he does. For a moment, there's that eye contact, and then he just kind of continues looking at the battle and kind of ignoring you. And
in that moment, there's that very faint Mona Lisa smile.
Okay. As far as for the rest of you, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Sorrel stares some more at the damn throne. I remember I'm staring at it. It's been so long. I don't know. Guessing I'm out of it.
You probably, at this point, you've kind of figured out most of what you can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
assuming Arcana wouldn't even be worth rolling.
Well, no, you can. I'd say go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and make an Arcana roll. I'm going to say it's going to be probably a little bit higher difficulty. Granted, some of the information is kind of tailored on what skill you're using, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go ahead and make an Arcana roll.
I rolled a 20. 16
Okay.
plus 4.
As you focus in on it, you do get a sense, even without necessarily having to cast any spells, that the throne is radiating a certain amount of power. You can almost feel it as sort of a as you focus in on it and kind of clear your head of all the other kind of clatter going on around you, you do feel almost a barely perceptible sort of thrum, kind of like a low bass beat kind of going through your body a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely a lot of power stored within that throne, which you realize makes sense if what Kai is saying is correct, is that it's a artifact of some kind. But it's definitely powerful.
With an 18 passive insight, can I pick up on the fact that Kai and Saral are obsessing over this throne that this dude is sitting on?
Yes. And you probably heard... Well, do you speak Draconic?
Nope.
Okay. So, yes, they are... You notice Saral is staring intently at the throne. Kai, not as much, as you see he's kind of playing a little non-verbal brinksmanship with the guy, with the giant on the throne, but you do you do, especially for Sorrel, notice that Sorrel is just hyper focused and just kind of scratching her chin, just like.
I kind of give her like just a tiny little nudge and just like cock my head very questioningly.
I'm gonna tell Tink. Tink. It's a super magical, slightly intimidating, old throne connected to this city pre-God War, Godfall. And we're trying to figure out what it does or what it is, and I can't figure it out, and it's making me really annoyed. But it's something, and it's very powerful, and it's either awesome or terrible. I don't know which yet. My cat keeps helping me.
Probably both.
Oh yeah. Why must you lay on my desk?
Because he's helping.
He's helping you roleplay, Mom.
Yeah, he's also helping me crochet by effing with everything there too.
I've bribed mine. I turned the heating pads on.
Yeah, no, he's now just chilling out on the desk. It's a good thing I'm not playing something I need to use my keyboard for. It blocks that completely. Now he's like, wait, I was on camera. Did you get my good side? That's what he looked like as I moved it away. He was just like,
I love it. I love
you big baby. You'll be so confused.
As for the rest of you, is I get or Echoes, I'm assuming you're just still kind of readying your ability should you need to use it.
Correct. Yep. I don't think I will, but just in case.
And then Ludame, are you doing anything else?
After last time, she's like, okay, I don't see any signs of Jaren. Let me see if there's a way that we can smuggle the slaves out of the area without them being harmed. Like, I'm looking for exit routes.
Okay. Go ahead and make another perception roll.
Ooh, nice. 24.
So here's the very interesting thing that you notice. While they are definitely acting subservient, they're not necessarily like chained or bound. Now you do see those that are not considered, I guess, more of the warrior types or the gladiatorial toys to throw in the arena. Most of them are usually just kind of unarmed, wearing kind of their normal clothes. It looks like. I mean, they look a little threadbare and beaten up in places, but they're not. Only those that are more of the gladiatorial types have weapons. But you see, they're I guess the threat of being bound or whatever does not seem to be an issue. They are all more or less free to move about, although most tend to hover kind of around the giant that they're subservient to, which you think is a little odd. But then you do realize too that the nearest civilization is however many days away. First getting through a desert, then dealing with the rest of the Badlands. And from what you saw of the desert giants, they can travel through the desert pretty easily in comparison. You're guessing if someone ran, it wouldn't be too terribly long before they were caught.
So if we were to be able to get them out, we could get them on our transport to get them out without much.
Yeah, so like as far as actual like freedom of movement, not the spell, but freedom of movement, they're more or less free to go around, but you get kind of a sense that it's almost kind of a codependent relationship. Like if they stray too far from whoever they're serving, shit could happen, maybe. But also, like, if they ran off, they'd probably get hunted down, and giants like to go smash and chomp and all that sort of thing. So you're guessing that's probably more or less what's keeping the slaves here, is just kind of the you realize.
I relay this to Kai and Serial and Tink and Ekris, and so that they know, like, hey, they're not really bound movement wise. We just need to be able to convince them to come with us.
Kai just gives a very slight nod.
Okay. So we'll go to the top of the round then. Foylan, I believe you are...
I believe it is my turn as well. So I will use, again, my bonus action to move 45 feet up to him.
Got a 12. Did not hit you, I'm assuming.
No. I will then recklessly attack him twice.
Okay.
First one, not great, a 16.
He will use his reaction to parry that one. So that is a miss.
And I'm okay with that. Second attack. Oh, is a nat 20.
Oh, okay.
So that will be 17 points of damage. And then since he used his reaction, I will take my move action to safely move 45 feet away from him again.
Okay.
I love this for you.
Right?
So, like, he comes in with the spear, and you manage to, like, almost kind of drop down on all fours barely and just kind of get underneath it, and your first swing just kind of bats the spear out of the way, but then before he can bring his shield up, you just chop into his shoulder, and there's a lot of blood that spills out as he's very bloody. Very bloody. And the poor bastard who can't catch you is going to ready an action to attempt to hit you again.
Woo!
Because that's a thing. Unless there's anything else anyone else wants to do in the stands, we'll maybe just kind of continue on here with the battle, I guess.
Now let Foylan have his fun.
So, Foylan, top of the round.
All right. Bonus action to move 45 feet up to him.
Hey, he got a 21 to hit you that time.
That does hit.
Take 11. Actually, no. He's going to hit you with the shield. Take 9 bludgeoning damage and make a strength saving throw.
All right. I will take half of that. And strength saving throw.
With advantage, don't forget.
Yeah, you do have advantage because you're raging.
Do I have advantage on strength saving throws or just ability checks?
I believe both,
Yes.
but I may be...
Oh,
The
strength
answer is
checks and
yes.
saving throws. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe it is both.
Ha, beautiful. 24 on the save.
Okay, so he doesn't knock you prone, which really would have been nice, but...
And then I will recklessly attack him twice. So first one is a 26 to hit him. I'm assuming that hits. Oop. Can I not hear anybody?
I can hear you. I think it's just Schmoops. I think it's just Bryan. I think we lost him.
Bryan, where'd you go, buddy? I think he
Looks
froze.
like Bryan is frozen.
I think he froze.
Oh, there he goes.
There he is.
Oh,
We're gonna look real weird for a second, folks.
so sorry.
I'm going to put up the battling tech goblins sign.
Jess, you are muted. I can see your mouth moving, but
I sit here saying things and I forget that I muted.
I
Sorry.
know. I figured you were being snarky and I wanted to hear it.
Thank you. Yes, I was like, oh no, it seems like it's a full outage. The maps are gone too.
Indeed.
The maps are gone too,
They
yeah.
are.
Hey, plug your stuff, Schmoopsy.
Oh, sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Kit, the Seven-Tail Fox. Seven-Tail Fox is my channel on Twitch. Tale, like the stories, because that's what we like to collect and share on the channel. My schedule is pretty irregular at the moment, but I've been trying to stream a lot more. I think the last week or two, I've managed to stream about as many days as not. And
Yeah.
I will probably be streaming later on today. Either Sea of Thieves or Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'm not quite sure which. But if you're interested, feel free to come drop by the channel, join us, hang out, vibe in the chat. We'd love to have you. Should be a good time.
Vibin'. Love it.
We have
Oh, there's a
Oh,
Bryan.
hey!
Yeah, my internet just decided to hiccup on me.
That's fair.
Hick. Go home, internet. You've been drinking.
I'll worry about popping the map up in a moment here, but
Yeah, we kind of know how the movements.
we kind of know what's going on.
So first attack was 26 to hit,
That will hit.
and that will deal 16 points of damage.
Brain fart. Okay,
Second attack is a 22 to hit.
that will also hit.
All right, and that will deal a lot less, 9 points of damage.
Okay, and then he's going to try and take his attack on you.
Okay,
And were you attacking reckless?
I was attacking reckless, so this one he does get advantage on.
14 is the highest.
Does not hit.
Both dice single digits. Not a good day to beat Krakus the Annihilator. And then you peel off, and
Yep.
it's unfortunately not able to do a whole lot else, and will ready again for the next turn.
Beautiful.
Just go. Just finish it.
All right. Bonus action to move in. He gets his non-advantage attack.
17 to hit.
Does not hit.
Okay.
Reckless attack twice. Let's see. 25 on the first attack.
That will hit.
Oh, there we go. 18 points of damage.
Okay. Let me. Ouch. Okay.
And then second attack. Ooh, lower on the die. 16.
He will use his reaction to parry that.
Cool. Then move action to safely move 45 feet away.
Poor bastard.
I know.
And readies an action.
All right. Bonus action to move in. He gets his non-advantage attack.
He got a 9.
That will still miss. Recklessly attack twice. That is a 26 to hit.
That will hit.
And he will take only 8 points of damage for that one.
Okay, still got a fighting chance. All right, I dig it.
And then 24 for the second attack.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And that one will deal... Oh, God, that was a 1 on the damage. 7 points of damage.
He is still up, so he will get his reactive
All right.
attack to poke you. Really? Both dice showed 2s. Both dice showed.
Oh, this poor man.
I love these dice for you, Brian. Can you use them tomorrow too?
No, they will go to the dice jail. I'll sage them. He will ready in action for his last final act of defiance.
Tank is just standing up there now, like, having scanned through everything, just, like, watching Fuelon work and knowing that, like, Tank would have used similar tactics, and he's just standing up there just watching, like, Fuelon is impressive. This is good. This is good.
It is very much so like watching an actual wolf hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Just that quick darting in and out.
Right?
Love it.
One of my biggest frustrations in fucking Dragon Age is those goddamn wolves.
That's why I'm an archer.
I hated the wolf fighting in Dragon Age because I had a wolf.
I also
I
feel
had a
bad,
wolf.
but fuck. Anyway.
Right, so I move in. He does get his ready to action attack.
Ha! Last great act of defiance. 21 to hit.
That does hit.
He is gonna, and he's doing the shield bash, so he'll do 9 bashing, and you have to make a strength saving throw.
Okay.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Nat 20.
Fuck. All right.
And he's finally managed to bloody Fuelon. Hey, look at that. Then I will recklessly attack twice.
Okay.
We've got a 22 to hit.
Yep.
And that will deal 17 points of damage.
In the immortal words of Matthew Mercer, how do you like to do this?
All right. So Fuelon's been kind of jumping in and out and dashing back and forth. The guy's just been kind of standing there trying to do the Spartan turtle thing with the shield and his spear. But Fuelon has definitely been given way worse than he's been taken. And finally, this guy, just in kind of his last desperate act, Fuelon charges in, and the shield bash just goes forward. And then he kind of like pulls back the shield, like looking to see if Fuelon went down. And Fuelon like didn't move at all. It was just like
no-sold the shield bash.
Right. It was like he tried to like hit him and like drive the shield through, but like as soon as the shield hit Fuelon, it just like stopped. And he pulls the shield back, and Fuelon just kind of looks at him like, really? And then thwap! Just side smacks him with the axe. His head just kind of does that quick turn, and then he collapses unconscious.
Okay.
Nice.
And Fuelon will howl victory.
And Fenrir joins in. And you know what? There's even a couple of the giants, a small handful who you've kind of won over. They will also do their imitation of howling as well.
Oh.
Oh.
And you
Kai,
see the leader.
Kai, can I howl?
Go for it.
Oh, still mad at you. Oh,
And you see the leader kind of is kind of sitting there like this, kind of leaning forward in the throne, and just kind of cracks his knuckles for a moment, which sound very loud because they're big knuckles, but then proceeds to get up and steps away from the throne.
This might be a good time for a break.
ooh.
That's
You're
a good
not
point.
even the GM. Why are you cliffhangering?
Because I
I was gonna
really
say,
have
wait
to
a minute, this is a bad sign with the guy just
all right.
walking off.
All right, if we make it a quick break,
5 minutes.
Works for me. Yep.
I gotta
5
pee,
minutes.
I'm sorry.
Pee fast. 5.
Alright, we'll be back. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. I'm gonna run a quick ad, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Got it.
So, we'll be back shortly. everybody. We are back.
Welcome. So, Kreskel has vacated the throne and stands off to the side. His champion, having lost.
Insight check.
Sure, go and make an insight check.
Samesies.
Yep, also.
25.
22.
24.
We are in some insightful motherfuckers over here.
Kreskel is not happy. Kreskel expected a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as you can tell, he's abiding by the
It doesn't feel like a trap.
not that you can see.
Okay. Kai is going to move past Kreskel, just not even looking at him.
Okay.
And he's going to... Fuck. He's going to sit in the throne.
The world explodes.
Okay. So, Bear,
Mm-hmm.
which of the three mental ability scores, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, which is lowest for your character currently?
Charisma.
Ooh.
Okay. So here's what happens. You hear a voice kind of in your head. Behold, mortal, you sit upon the throne of judgment, the throne of Kaltoris. The god emperor of civilization. Know that the wisdom granted to you be used to protect your civilization. You have... Sorry, I'm wording this shittily. The power and responsibility is now yours. With that, your charisma goes up by 2.
Oh.
Ooh.
Because it is charisma, you gain proficiency in the persuasion skill. And if you did not speak giant, you now speak giant.
Okay.
As sure enough, you feel that this throne's power kind of divests some of itself in you. And for a moment, everything sort of just seems to still. And you hear this woman's voice. Bravo! Bravo, brother. And sort of a darkness seems to fall across really everything that sort of seems to shadow your vision. Again, everyone seems like perfectly still, almost kind of caught in a mid-moment. And you realize as you kind of see this darkness settle across that you look up and you see that it appears as if a moon is kind of traveling in front of the sun. And you see this kind of ghostly apparition of a woman, kind of more or less appear. Gown seemed to be made more or less out of starlight. Oh, brother. Bravo. Bravo. I am delighted. I'm delighted to see all these wonderful expeditions of yours.
I'm glad you're entertained.
In fact, this entire trip has just been so amusing.
Again, I'm glad you're entertained. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh no, I am merely here to enjoy the ride. Although I will say your presence upon the realm is, well, your influence as of late has been, shall we say, treading upon my toes a little bit. I mean, if I had toes.
Does he have any idea who this is?
Oh yeah, it's a Lunatara.
Okay.
The goddess of, well, chaos, more or less.
Your influence notwithstanding, you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I do, and I am finding it quite entertaining. Actually, all of your ordeals as of late, I have found vastly entertaining. I mean, releasing Mordecai, awakening a Kodaban, although admittedly your Pope and her crew did take care of that one, but I mean, so delicious. I do wonder what will happen next. After all, we may be gods, but we're not omniscient.
The deal was you'd stay out of the way.
I have not moved anything, manipulated any events in this. I am purely enjoying the chaos that the God of Order is bringing to this world. It is so delightful.
If you had come with me, like I had suggested, you would understand how this works.
But why? I mean, effectively, it would be following your rules, and let's face it, once Mordecai gets back to the throne, he'll probably destroy it all anyway.
We need to understand, we've been out of touch with these people for far too long. How can we dictate what may or may not be best for them unless we know where they're coming from?
Well, that's the beauty. In my position, I don't have to dictate a thing. I'm all about rebirth.
You don't
Let them make their choices. Let the little monkeys make their choices. I mean, that's why we gave them free will, didn't we? Or why the gods did previous to us. After all, we're just in the inheritors.
I hope you can hear yourself. You may not dictate anything, but people are going to follow your lead regardless. Because you are a goddess.
And I will enjoy leading them around in little circles.
And that, right there, is why I left.
Well, I see you visited one of our old pals, or at least one of their leftovers. How is it sitting in the throne?
It's weird. I don't intend to do it for very long.
That's fair. I thought it was interesting to see, perhaps to, as you go on your quest to find yourself, that while the old gods are gone, their works are not necessarily forgotten.
No, I find that interesting and troubling. Maybe the Throne
In
of
fact,
Power is not quite as potent as we thought it was.
well, and as I, in fact, to think of it, I believe parts of Kaltoris are spewed out all across the lovely Badlands. I think perhaps you may have even found their influence in other areas. That little town of Oddity, perhaps. Who would think a lizard folk man could put such a thing together on their own, or get it all to work? But I suppose a god of diplomacy and civilization can influence things to make it happen.
This is another problem that I've been having lately. This whole relegation of things based on who they are, their race, what have you. This was never you when we were mortal. And suddenly now that you're a god, you're better than everybody and you can relegate them to one monolithic thing.
But I am better than everybody. I'm a
That
god.
is precisely the issue and why I'm here. Because I had that attitude too. And here we are. We almost lost it all.
Well, then I will appreciate you educating me further as you go about your travels, as they have been quite entertaining. Good luck with your travels, brother.
Go home.
And with that, she sort of fades away, and your vision clears up as the moon passes away from the sun. And all of a sudden, time seems to start up again as everybody starts kind of moving and reacting, and time unfreezes.
In Flawless Giant, to the former ruler, assemble everybody.
Very well. And you see he heads over and sounds a horn or something, and what few giants were probably not there at the arena, aka those that were maybe on more of a patrol or guard or whatever you want to call it, do arrive in and into the city and appear at the arena. And so there's probably all told about, maybe, I don't know, 80 to 100 giants.
Fink is very pointedly staring at Kai. Like, waiting for Kai to make eye contact.
While he waits for the assemblage to assemble, he will glance at Tink.
Tink looks over toward Calandra.
I know. I know. I think I have this in hand. Once everybody's assembled.
Yeah, it doesn't take too terribly long.
He will project his voice, speaking in Giant. He will ask Ekrus to translate for his friends that don't speak Giant.
Ekrus is happy to do so, though he will stutter.
The wisdom that has been granted to your people is admirable, but flawed. You You have taken conflicts between yourselves and pushed them onto other beings. You have taken away their right to choose for themselves, and therefore absolved yourself of any wrongdoing. But I tell you now that wrongdoing still lies with you. Forcing others to do what you will not is not okay. As of this moment, and in perpetuity, going forward, slavery in this arena and in all others in the Badlands is completely abolished. Those slaves that are serving here will be given a ride to Oddity. From there they may go as they wish. If you wish to stay, that is your choice, as you are no longer enslaved. Does anybody have an issue with what I have just said?
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Hey, good thing you got proficiency in that.
Damn Skippy! Okay, so that's going to be a 23.
Okay. The giants are, especially the hill giants, are not happy with this, and some of them complain a little bit, but none of them. You can tell the influence the throne has had on them in general, as far as curbing some of their more high tempers and giving them a bit more, because for many of the hill giants, intelligence is their lowest stat, so they got a bump to that, but that they ultimately abide by the decision.
Pink immediately moves to Calandra. And will take her by the hand and start going back to the group.
Okay.
As soon as he sees that the giants are not gonna just smash us all to smithereens, he's going for his friend.
Okay. And you get there, and Calandra just gives you the biggest hug. Oh, my Tink! I miss you so much!
He just, yeah.
Weirdest fucking monk ever.
Most awesome monk ever. Whatever.
They don't.
The
two are not.
I disagree.
Start to lead Calandra off. Calandra kind of stops you for just a brief moment, and kind of extends her hand to the other slaves that were kind of part of that immediate grouping.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of look warily at the giant who is standing there, or is kind of sitting there, definitely giving you the stink eye, but doesn't move or do anything, and so you kind of lead a daisy chain of slaves back to the.
Yeah. And I'm sure Tink was saying reassuring things, probably in one of the dwarvish voices, but I can't come up with anything on the fly right now, so.
That's fair.
He's just very happy. Probably throws in bene from
from Giuseppe.
From Giuseppe, yeah.
I love
I love this. So
How do most of the slaves look at this point? Do they at least look well cared for? Or are they kind of bedraggled? Like, what are we looking at?
Um, so those that were definitely used as warriors for the gladiatorial pits have a lot of scars and bruises um, and whatnot. Those former slaves that were not necessarily set up as for combat and were more for a more servitude based thing they look like they're fed. Their clothes look a little maintained but kind of well worn, and there's some patches and whatnot, and you're guessing whatever the former slaves had to sort of repair their clothing, they did on their own with what they could. So some of the outfits look a bit threadbare, but otherwise they seem okay. Really, it's more the gladiatorial ones that you see tons of scars and injuries, and because it's not like the giants really have any healers or would kind of waste time
Drake.
healing them, so to speak.
Yeah.
Even Calandra's got. I'd say, Tink, one thing you do notice is Calandra has several kind of scars and bruises, but you see there is a probably like one scar that kind of starts kind of mid forehead and kind of goes over the eye and kind of comes down into the cheek. That's it's healed up, but it's kind of like it's been there for a little while, so it's definitely kind of to the point where it's kind of perma-scarring. But her eye is okay, so whatever hit her luckily wasn't deep enough to hit her eye. Like, just lucked the hell out of it, or she was that good.
Yeah.
But
So I guess
definitely did not come out of the pits unscathed.
Yeah.
so. If nobody needs active healing, I think Ekris is just going to like help. I don't know, organize the slaves, maybe start a list to help them like get to where they need to be or where they want to be, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Kai is going to start going amongst the sand giants and finding their de facto leader.
Okay.
Preferably one that wasn't super into the fighting.
Okay, you're able with some effort, you're able to eventually do that.
So I will turn to him. I will ask his name, but I will not make Bryan come up with a name. I will just ask his name and he can give it.
Actually, we'll say the name is Samir.
Samir. All right. Samir, I have work that I need to do that is not here. I would like you to act as my regent in my stead. Is that something you think you can do?
You'll have to pronounce it for all.
Oh, I will.
Otherwise, they will not accept.
I absolutely will. However, your job is to maintain the peace, adjudicate conflicts, and, more importantly, guard these lands against the effects and the ramifications of slavery. These people need something to do. Let's give them something to do.
Very well.
Do you swear to upkeep that which I have told you? Do you swear to upkeep that which he says it better than I fucking do.
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Ooh, I'll take it. 22.
In a strange way, you almost feel, since this is all about kind of law and order in a lot of cases, that you're kind of almost sort of tapping into certain a wellspring or whatever, so to speak.
Can't imagine why I feel that way.
You managed to explain that, and he agrees.
Okay. I will then declare it before all. Samir is my regent to act on my behalf in my stead. I will also declare what the kind of impetus and purpose of the Giants will be going forward. And then after all of that, he will go to Sorrel.
Okay.
Privately.
Okay.
Sorrel's microphone is not working currently.
And so I will wait until she gets that working, and you can move on to somebody else.
Okay.
Did you check your Zoom settings, Jess?
I heard something.
Something happened.
Just a split second there.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird is your window lights up like you're talking.
Well, it did just then. It wasn't before.
No, but it did sound like something got like plugged in or was no longer loose for a second.
Mm-hmm. You can hear us. Your mic's not working.
I'm legit going to put a Battling the Tech Goblins button on the stream.
Yeah,
Okay.
Does your headset, it has the microphone like swivels up and down, yeah?
You don't have like a mute button on your headset, do you? Because I know I do, and sometimes I forget.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nah.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey!
Ah!
There you go.
Oh.
No, and then it,
Okay,
back out.
it went back
Yeah.
out.
We had you for like half a second.
We gotta. Okay, hold on.
It was like we heard you, and then you grabbed your headset to readjust it, and then you were gone.
And then it went away again.
Oh,
this is
no,
sounding like
does
a
that mean
hardware
it's-
issue.
Does
Yeah,
that mean it's the
Might
headset?
be.
it
Yeah.
sounds
Could
like
be.
it's the headset.
Oh.
No, Jess, sorry. She looks real sad.
She does look really sad. I'm sorry.
I would just kind of like try like grabbing the headphones, pulling away from your head just a little bit, and just like physically, doing some of that.
Sounds like maybe like
Here.
a loose wire?
Yeah, there might be a loose wire.
Loose connection.
Dear Tech Goblins,
As if it's just a loose
Please
connection to the
stop
microphone
fucking with
part.
our stream.
I've got mead. I will sacrifice to Tech Goblins if they knock their shit off right now.
I have whiskey.
please stop harassing us.
Now Sorrel can't hear either. Oh,
Okay, this
Oh.
is gonna get filled today, so please, Tech Goblins, go away,
Please.
and I will give you bourbon.
There you go.
I like, yeah, that's good.
hey!
There you
Hey!
go.
Well, I just switched out of my headset completely, which I'd also done. Like while we
Hmm.
were trying to fix it,
Oh,
I
jeez.
had stopped using this mic, and I used the mic incorporated with my
Mhm.
camera a couple times, and it's still, you guys couldn't hear me. What's really frustrating is when I go into my settings, I can see that the computer is picking up my mic because it does the little thing when I talk.
Mhm.
I can see it. But the applications aren't seeing it. And it did before the break, but during the break, I flipped up my mute,
Mm.
which is wonderful. It works really well, but not on certain communication things.
So
and
I
when
will
it
say,
came back,
I will say this much.
very frustrating.
Before we started going streaming live again, I discovered that I had a corrupted driver, a corrupted sound driver. And our tech friend Dan was able to fix it.
Maybe I need to have a conversation because it's been about 2 months now of things working great, totally fine, and then all of a sudden they don't.
Mhm. Yeah.
And sometimes I don't touch anything.
Yep, and I had the exact same symptoms. So yeah, maybe reach out to
Very
Dan and be like,
frustrating.
yeah.
Because yeah,
Great.
I checked my drivers on my own, but I don't know if they're corrupt or not. I just made sure they're the most recent ones.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
He's the guy.
All right.
So that's
Okay,
it.
Kai went to Sorrel.
There you go.
So, hi, I'm here. Hi.
I know what I said, and I know why you're... Sorry, wrong voice. I know what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And I know why you're upset.
Oh, good.
You do understand that I may talk about it, but I will never be able to.
You seem to try to be convincing me in that moment.
And in that moment, I wanted to, very badly. But he kind of gestures at the throne.
You would create a nasty power void.
I know. I have
And
fun.
dude, you keep trying to take over everything. You just took over this community. Now, for right reasons. Not saying it's wrong. But you're like, I need to lead shit, guy. So
If there was somebody else,
but you would never trust anybody else. That's why you became a god. Because you could do it. You could make a difference, and you give a shit. Unlike some of the other gods, not saying there are very lovely gods out there, I have very good friends, but some of them just don't give a shit, and they're just in there for their own entertainment at this point, because as you discussed in your whole reason of being disconnected from the mortals, they're disconnected.
I know.
And if you really, truly don't want to be a god anymore, fine, but don't lie to me about it. And you better figure out a way to deal with the power void. Because it's not just you.
I promise I will never lie to you again. As far as the god thing,
I see it.
Well, that's fair. As far as the god thing, I'm stuck. And no, I don't want to be a god. Not anymore. But I don't see an alternative at this point.
Well, you weren't always a god. You stepped into it. So there's a possibility that somebody else could step into it as well. But you can't just step out without a plan.
I know.
And a fucking good one, too.
I know. After all of this, whatever this is, I'm going back. If nothing else, than to remind Ludatara that she's not everything she thinks she is.
She does have a bit of a chip on her shoulder.
I mean, so did I. Omnipotence does that too.
There are reasons I never became a god.
For which we are all grateful, Sorrel.
Hey! I could have been a really good god! What are you saying here?
He just scoops her up in a giant bear hug.
I'm still grumpy at you, but I accept this hug.
Yeah, you love me anyway.
I do. Doesn't mean I can't be mad at you.
No. Same for me. I cannot want to be a god and still recognize that I need to be.
It's the responsible, orderly thing to do.
Sure.
Even though Thrall is like a little chaos thing, she still recognizes she's ultimately good and recognizes that the power void would be bad.
And
difference
actually,
between neutral and chaotic good.
And you do hear kind of, again, as a sort of disembodied female voice there, Kai. Oh, I like this little seed of chaos you have with you.
I used to travel with her too, you know.
What'd you say?
He said, I used to travel with her too, you know.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
No, I didn't. I wasn't expecting an answer.
With that being said, then, what are you all, like, I guess, up to other than getting swarmed by a bunch of freed slaves.
You
I think
guys
we're-
have never heard Tank talk this much before, ever. And he and Calandra are just back and forth, rapid fire, like interrupting each other, telling stories. You hear Tank cycle through like 12 different voices. Just going.
And you definitely get now a sense of where one of those voices are coming from, too. 'Cause
Kai is probably going to rely on Ekrus to kind of get the freed slaves who want to leave ready to go.
Yeah, that was Eccres's plan. He was trying to get them organized, create inventories, and figure out transport, that sort of thing for people. Although he will probably need help because I imagine there's probably hundreds of these individuals rather than, a handful.
Yeah, there's probably a good maybe 200 all told.
Jesus.
A lot. Tank is
Foylan's-
introducing. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Foylan's probably going around making sure that any of the slaves that say that they want to stay actually want to stay and don't feel like intimidated or scared and pressured to say they want to stay. Like, I'm going to get in between the giant and the slave and be like, all right, you now have a human shield. Do you actually want to stay? That kind of thing.
Sorrel makes sure that he has his fuck pants on.
Yes. That's
They're all on
into-
fuck pants duty.
I went into hybrid form, not full wolf form. The
He
fuck
didn't lose
pants
his
stayed
fuck
on the
pants.
whole time.
Okay. I wasn't sure if pants stay on in hybrid well enough or not, so.
Or do we
It's
have
not like
do we
going,
have a
like, sniffing
Incredible
on his-
Hulk situation where it's like they're on, but only kinda.
I just thought, it's not like she's going sniffing butt, but she does kind of do a lean to make sure his ass is covered, and then continues.
Like, if he was
Helping
not a
in her
werewolf, if he was like another, like a were-bear or something, or like a were-tiger, I'd say there's probably a little bit more Hulk.
Fair enough.
Oh no, he froze.
Oh,
Oh
we lost
no,
Bryan
he
again.
froze again.
It was him? Oh no.
It's like in the same kind of position too. He was kind of like
It
this.
is.
before.
I
He
think his
glitched a little bit
internet is
earlier, and I was hoping it was
having
gonna be-
issues.
Hmm.
The tech gods really are not on our side today.
Oh, the tech goblin thing is still up. All right.
Mm.
Yeah, I saw it up earlier when we weren't having issues, and I was about to say you can take it down, and then you did, and then it's like, oh, but the deck goblins come back, so maybe we just leave that up today.
I'm legit. I'm gonna put a toggle on my fucking stream pad here. And
Yeah.
one thing I will say that we
there he goes.
There he is.
He's back.
Ah.
we're all in the wrong spot, but it's fine. I got it.
I'm hating my internet.
I'm sorry.
We love you.
We do love you.
Because it's my internet. It's not,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I know I'm paid up, so I know it's not because of that. So
Mhm.
I think the last little bit for Kai is that he's going to go kind of as things are settling. He's going to go to Foylan.
okay.
I don't know the nature of our relationship precisely outside of compatriots. But I wanted to convey that I was very impressed with how you handled yourself against the champion. And if I ever need anybody to fight my battles for me in the future, I will happily choose you.
Thank you. I am glad you see the strength of the fight of the wolf.
Oh, I do. At least you didn't say respect the alpha, because fucking A, man. Sorry, critical role joke, never mind. I really...
That could have gone in so many directions.
The chaos gremlin in me, Kai would never do this. The chaos gremlin in me would want to put a hand on your head and say, "Good boy." But I would never. Kai would never do that. Adam would do that. Kai would never do that.
Wow.
As all of that's going on, to distract Tink from, I'll happily choose you to fight my battles for me, because, boo. Tink hate you right now. It's fine. Tink's a badass. Tink has Calandra and then like the little cadre of slaves that were with her, and is introducing, like, is explaining who everybody is in the group, using the person's voice. So like, as much as he can. So like Kai, and is using Kai's voice, saying things that Kai has said to like.
Let's hear it. I want to hear imitations of everybody's voice.
No, I don't.
You hate me right
I
now
don't
anyway.
have. I don't have enough stuff.
It's all good. It's all good.
So, but yeah, just like, there's a lot of Sorrel that gets thrown in because Sorrel talks the most. So there's the introduction of everybody in their voice because he's heard everybody introduce themselves, and will throw in some key phrases, but a lot of it is Sorrel.
Sorrel, during all of this like organization of slaves and stuff, or former slaves, goes and pokes Fenrir and goes, do you want to make sure that all the slaves are safe with me? We get to threaten, guys.
Okay.
Just because you look like you're bored.
And you see something that you don't see much from Fenrir at all is like, you see Fenrir kind of look a little sheepishly and then look towards you and goes, I ate a person's leg today when the giants threw it at me. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie, it tasted pretty good. Just
I appreciate your honesty. I'm gonna go you, but I also don't eat people. So, not my thing.
I mean, I haven't done it for quite some time, but at any rate, yep, we'll help.
Okay.
I guess we're not fighting the big guys.
No, but we can make sure that the big guys are following the decree that was just put, and that she's pretty much doing what Foylan was doing, but she's getting Fenrir to be her muscle as she does the talking and stuff like that.
It's fair.
And gets to encourage him doing all of his growly stuff.
That's fair. And
So I'm just like, because it seems like it's a large crowd of people that needs to be managed. She wouldn't have just stood there.
Absolutely.
You hear from the other side of the group a roar, I am Fenrir the Blood Wolf.
Actually, you hear that, and then you hear Fenrir's ears perk up, and then
And Tick just gives a wave.
howl, and then Fenrir howls like, no, I'm Fenrir the Blood Wolf.
You see Fuelon at that, like, perks up too at the I am Fenrir, like, what's Fenrir doing? And like howls back like, I'm here, buddy. What do you need?
All of a sudden, there's these three big wolf howls just.
I love it so much.
I'm definitely having a weird day.
Amen to that.
We gotta make it weird.
I mean, that's pretty much priority number one for this entire thing.
Yep.
For me, is to make it to throw little oddness in it all. Yeah.
It's gonna get weird. I'm gonna make it weird.
There you go.
I respect that.
Is there with that, is there? I guess you guys are organizing, getting things ready to go. Are you then making the trek with the people back north to the? Well, at least to the trade routes that that Luna and
Yes,
the.
we
Yeah.
we make our way. We're making our way.
However
that direction.
long we're there, I am kind of instructing Samir on
Okay.
the importance of civic responsibility.
Okay. Kai, go ahead and make a. As you're doing this, I would like you to go ahead and make a. We'll call it a straight intelligence roll.
Okay. Where's the thing? There's the thing. Dice, don't fuck me over. Don't fuck me go. Oh, dirty 20. I rolled a 19 for the record.
So as you're doing this, and you're realizing that Samir is definitely comprehending and understanding, but you start to realize too that like you admittedly sat in the throne and got some benefits, but you're realizing that all of the giants here have interacted with the throne at some point, which is part of the reason why their civilization, albeit being what it is, being a step up from what it was for more of the brutal tribal beat the shit out of each other thing to what it is now, you realize is because they all interacted with the throne at some point. And you're guessing not everyone necessarily sat on the throne, but but judging by the fact that it worked with you based on touch, granted it was your posterior touching it, but you're thinking its effects may.
So what you're saying is I got a +2 to charisma through my butt?
Yep.
Yep.
Do you tell the rest of us that this is touch based?
You got the badonkadonk because you sat in the throne of judgment.
You got charisma out the ass.
I will 100% tell the rest of the party that there is some benefit to touching the throne, as evidenced by the fact that I can now fluently speak giant, which I couldn't before.
I'd touch it. Probably not with my butt.
You don't shake your tail feathers at it?
No.
So, Tink, what is the lowest of your mental attributes?
Intelligence.
Okay, so your intelligence goes up by 2.
Yeah.
You get proficiency in the investigation skill,
Ooh, love that for me.
and you now speak giant if you did not already.
Excellent.
Wayland
And
will
you
also.
hear kind of a thought in your head very similar to what I had mentioned, sort of with as far as protecting and building civilization, yada yada yada.
Wayland would touch the chair too.
Okay, and
Oh, it's Thrall.
Okay, so Phelan said he went next, so we'll get to Strahl in just a moment. Phelan, what is your lowest mental attribute?
Intelligence as well.
So you get a +2 to int.
Okay.
You get proficiency in the investigation skill.
Nice.
And you also speak giant if you did not speak it before.
Woo.
Saral, what is your lowest mental attribute?
Looks like int as well.
So as before, +2 to int. Proficiency in the investigation skill. And you get to speak giant if you did not speak it before. Is Maeve or Ekris going to touch the...
Oh, for sure.
Okay, Ekris, what is your lowest mental attribute?
Charisma.
Okay, so your charisma increases by 2. You get proficiency in the persuasion skill, And because you already speak Giant, you can pick another language of your choice.
Sounds great. As soon as Icarus stands up, he now has a positive charisma modifier and turns to everyone and says, "Well, hello. Oh my goodness, I'm no longer stuttering. I can speak without comment without stuttering." He's very excited.
Have so much.
I dig it.
Yeah.
And then, Ludemo, are you touching
Hold
the
on.
throne?
In my head, in headcanon, the entirety of the king's speech played out behind Ekrus's eyes.
Oh my
Here
god,
for it.
yes.
That's it.
I
I'm
love
done.
So Maeve, I don't know if you're kind of hearing. Look, everyone seemed to be touching the throne to gain some of its power. Are you doing so as well?
Yes. Just
Okay.
for like the briefest of touches.
What is the lowest of your 3 mental ability scores?
That would be charisma.
Okay, so your charisma increases by 2. You gain proficiency with the persuasion skill if you didn't have it already.
Wait,
And
I
you-
get proficiency with which?
Persuasion,
Persuasion. Okay.
and then you also speak Giant if you have not spoken
Okay.
Giant.
Okay. Hang on.
If you need help doing that on D&D Beyond, I can give you a hand after.
I'm sorry.
If you need help doing that on D&D Beyond, I can give you a hand after.
Yes, please.
All right. With that being a thing, then you ultimately gather the group of individuals and head north. It does take a little bit longer since it's a larger group of individuals, and admittedly, not all of them are necessarily as well kitted for running around in the desert, but ultimately, with your group there and being a large enough group, you're able to you're able to get north. It probably takes let's see, with you as a smaller group on foot, probably took like, I think I said like 2 days, so we'll probably say double that. But ultimately, you are able to get north back to the quote-unquote trade routes, for lack of a better term. And let's see, we're 1 o'clock right now. I'd say you probably find a good spot to sort of set up a camp, and kind of wait for the Silken Strand and Luna to come back.
100% prep the freed slaves that there's a giant spider coming, so they don't freak the fuck out.
But it's a friendly giant spider.
Right.
Okay. So, admittedly, about 9 days later, you are you see the undeniable profile of Luna and the Silken Strand Inn as it climbs over some rocky hills and starts to approach. Admittedly, you've set up a pretty decent campsite at this point, and you know, you've set up a routine as far as people that are guards and everybody. those that are guards taking shifts and kind of protecting things. And I imagine those of you that can hunt will help hunt to get food and stuff too. Now that you're kind of skirting that edge between the desert and more more of the for lack of a better term, the more of the living desert that still has brush and vegetation and critters in it, as opposed to kind of the deeper desert that was more of like the, going full Sahara, I guess, for lack of a better term, if you wanted to give it a descriptor, or full Gobi, since I guess I described it as more like the Gobi Desert, but you get the idea. And yeah, so you see the Silken Strand in approach, and you see several people are fearful because it is an intimidating sight, but you see the spider approach, and then just kind of sort of settles down as best it can, and you see a couple of rope ladders, for lack of a better term, sort of get dropped down, and sure enough, you see Alisaria and you also see where's his name? Cross begin kind of climbing down.
I will also say that I mentioned to Samir that Luna was to be left alone.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, everybody's kind of taken your guys' lead on this, and I mean, they're still fearful because it's a ginormous freaking spider. But
oh no, I meant the giant regent that I left in charge.
Okay.
I informed him
gotcha.
that Luna the spider was to be not shaken down in his attempts to alleviate this region of slavery.
Gotcha. That's fair enough. So yeah, admittedly, with all the extra people, it's going to be extremely crowded.
So yeah, Kai will walk up to Elsaria. Say, I do apologize. We seem to have quite a few more people than we left with. But we did manage to release the slaves. And made it such that the giants will act as a force against slavery going forward. With your assistance, we would very much like to return these people to Oddity so that they might go wherever it is they wish to go.
Okay, it'll be a little more than a little tight, but we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
I guess I'll leave you to get them organized, and you see she climbs back up to let them know up top.
Kai will wholesale just carry anybody up that can't do the rope thing.
That's fair. Well, and they kind of set it up to so they kind of set out a like when Luna sort of gets settled, they have sort of a secondary thing that kind of comes out that then kind of gets staked out temporarily. That's more of a, for lack of a better term, kind of a rope bridge. I mean, you still have to kind of hold on to the handholds to be able to traverse it all, because it gets fairly steep at the end, but and then for those that want to use the rope ladder or whatnot, there's that as well. Like, they're good to use that, but admittedly, with the amount of people, they do suggest that maybe they head straight back to Oddity first, just because they definitely won't have the supplies for an extended trek.
To which point Kai will then turn to Ludema. If you want to leave and traverse on foot, I will go with you to the Silver Tower. I still think it would be faster if we took them to Oddity and then came back on Luna, but if it is your drive to do so, I will accompany you.
I would prefer to see these people to safety because we know once we get them to Oddity, they can be on their way.
I just wanted to let you know that that was an option.
Going it alone or with just one other person isn't a smart move. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to stick with everyone to make sure everyone... Any way I can help them with their regained freedom.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. And we will find your father, right? Yeah, father.
Yes, we will.
With that said, the trip back, now that everybody's more or less on board Luna, which does take a while just to help allay people's fears. Admittedly, some of these people had maybe been to Oddity before, so they are a little more familiar with the setup, but many of them are not necessarily. Or they didn't get shuttled through Oddity as the port of call when they were sold. You do notice, though, that the majority of people are from Solanel. Just in terms of manner and appearance and accents.
I will refer those that wish to return to Solanel to Giuseppe.
Okay.
I will inform them that while I would love to help out, I do not have the finances to pay for their journey across the sea, but he is the man to see if that is the return that they wish to have.
Okay.
We also let them know about the markets that, for whatever skills they have, they can do things to earn coin so that they can pay for their passage to get back.
Okay. So you probably spend the next few days of travel sort of organizing them and letting them know what to kind of expect and sort of rehabilitating them, for lack of a better term.
A little bit of a shakedown, decompression.
Right.
Processing some complex trauma. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Fine. We do organized Tai Chi. It's great.
Hell yeah. Kai goes full wharf on those guys.
I guess I would ask, how in Oddity, how in demand are healing services?
Oh, they're pretty in demand like they are anywhere else.
So I think Ekris would actually, for the days that they're there, attempt to offer his healing services to raise money for them, for the people that want to go back to Solano.
Okay.
I didn't even think of that. Ludema applies her glass blowing skills to make all manner of vases and bottles and whatnot to help raise money as well.
So tell you what. So the travel back to taking kind of a direct line to Oddity on Luna wouldn't take quite the week that it was before you kind of got out near the desert, because admittedly they were taking kind of a route before. Now they're kind of making a beeline. So we'd say probably about 3 or 4 days of travel before you see the kind of the top market and Dessa's dilapidated tower and whatnot. You are able to ultimately unload the people into the town of Oddity, where they are admittedly, there's more than a few people that are a little perplexed by this big swarm of people that are now entering the town, which are potentially making it, about a tenth larger, 20th larger than it was before, kind of thing. Like it's definitely a big rush of people all at once, but they make adjustments to it as it is.
Pink would have made as much jewelry as he could in those days and would have tucked them away with Calandra, assuming that she would want to go home.
And she, so you in the downtime, you and Calandra are able to kind of discuss sort of next steps. And she does eventually want to go back. Although, truthfully, being on another continent does mean that she's harder to find. So she's a little torn by that. Admittedly, for now, she's willing to kind of stay in Oddity, since it seems to be a relatively safe port of call, and kind of, I guess, figure out what her next step is going to be, and maybe kind of, if nothing else, get settled and kind of wait for you, if nothing else.
Maybe help some of the people afford to go back to Solano.
And some of that too.
Excellent.
So yeah, let's see. We've only got like about I was kind of aiming for a 2 o'clock cutoff. I don't know 100% if I want to necessarily dive into the next thing, just because we'll be kind of. I guess I don't know necessarily how long it's going to take.
This is a good endpoint.
This seems kind of a good endpoint. We can. I will say, Eddie, when you kind of explain the situation and that these are all a bunch of freed slaves, Eddie does at some point pull one or more of you aside when he can get a chance to, and gives you a kind of a reward for saving the slaves. So I would say the party is given 1,000 gold of accumulated various coinage from across the realms, as they are a port town. But
a total of 1,000 gold.
A total of 1,000 gold, distributed however you like.
I'm just putting it in chat so we can do the math later.
And for all intents and purposes, you're kind of lauded as sort of heroes of Oddity. You find, at least for this part of time that you're in the town, you don't have to pay for a room or a drink. Like people are more than happy to foot the bill for the heroes of Oddity kind of thing. And
I will also fill Eddie in on what happened with the Giants, just very sort of just the facts situation.
And his response is kind of along the lines of, well, let's hope that holds.
Yes, same.
I think we'll talk up the involvement of Luna and the Silken Strand Inn, and their heroics as well, to try to help boost business for our friends, despite the creepy spider.
Go ahead and make let's call it a performance roll.
Oh no. Does our bard have any inspiration to give out? Can I request bardic inspiration?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you have bardic inspiration.
I would also point
Absolutely.
out rerolls are available for channel points in the stream.
That is very
Oh,
true.
true.
What die size is your bardic inspiration?
1d8.
Okay. Because I only have a +1. Oh. I'm gonna. I mean, with the bardic inspiration, that's actually not bad. That's a 17.
Oh, that's
Okay. 17's pretty good. You're able to hype their business. I would say, I mean, granted, right now we're a little wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, but I will say before you leave the inn, Alisaria does take you aside, Tink,
Yes.
and brings you over to Rilia,
Mhm.
and you see they are both wearing the necklaces you made, and thank you profusely.
Oh, I give them both a big hug. That makes Tink so happy.
It is the cutest.
And they give you a huge hug as well.
Give him a little birdie peck on each cheek. It's cute.
And they and so and so of course Rilia is like, well, anytime you need travel, please let us know. We're happy to work with you all. You've done some great things for this town and have bettered the Badlands, which is an impressive feat.
Okay, okay.
And you see Rilia's like, well, and she's kind of trying not to fight down any potential tears that might be. It's like, well, I've got things I got to do to prepare for. Then it kind of heads off, and you see Alisari kind of grabs your hand and leads you to the entrance as you're about ready to go. It's like, I admit I don't. I just want to thank you for the lovely craftsmanship. And I know we've made some agreements or whatnot, but I wanted to. I guess I wanted to give you this. I hope. I know it's maybe not as austere, but I know it is maybe quite useful in your endeavors as adventuring parties and those who
Hydrate.
well, quite frankly, have a harder time dealing with being vertically challenged. And so she actually hands off to you like 100 feet of spider silk rope.
Nice. Everybody hydrate.
Tink thanks her profusely in like 4 different voices. 100 feet of spider silk rope. That's so cool.
Yeah. It is surprisingly lightweight. It is surprisingly strong.
Is that an actual thing that I can add to my inventory, or should I just put that in my notes?
Should be able to. I think spider silk is in the listings.
I think so.
And if it's not, I'm sure there's a homebrew out for it somewhere. And if it's not, we can make it.
Okay.
Yep.
There's silk rope, but I don't see spider silk rope. Okay. I'll take a look later, and I'll just stick it in my notes for now.
And she gives you another hug, and then then proceeds to go back, getting the silken strand ready for round 2.
Cleaning up after 200 people.
Right. That being said, is there? You guys do have some time in town before. They do say it's probably going to take like maybe a day or two just to kind of get reset,
Resupplied.
resupplied before they head out. Because I mean, usually they take like a month travel with like 20 to 30 people. Not, so I mean, they definitely ate up all their wares, and it was probably a little like there might have been like the last day people might have been going hungry because there just wasn't any food left, period. But
I'd say probably Kai just didn't eat.
it's fair.
Ludema probably just dug into the rations she had with her so that other people could have the more food. And as far as the time while they restock, Ludema just goes on a crafting frenzy to save up coin to kind of help with that load a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of what, as I said, Ekris is going to try to sell his healing services to raise money for the people that are traveling back to Solanel. And out of curiosity, like what would that cost total?
Well,
A lot of money, but
how many? I guess are you? So we'll call it 2 days of downtime, effectively. How many, I guess, hours are you going to spend kind of pursuing your crafts, whatever that may be?
I mean, Ekris would probably spend every waking minute that he's not eating or try to take care of his own like personal needs.
Okay. And same for you, Ludema?
And for Tink as well.
So what I would like from each of you, for Tink, it would be your jewelry crafting skill, or basically your proficiency plus your crafting tools, I believe. Proficiency.
Proficiency plus dex.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, I'd say proficiency. Yeah, probably proficiency plus dex.
Oh.
Okay.
I'd say probably the same for Ludema.
I could also do performances because she's a bard.
Well, what would you prefer to do?
I'm thinking I have a better I have a higher performance than I do
Okay.
crafting.
Okay, so then you'll make a perform check. And then for Ekris, I would like you to make a medicine check. I will allow you to roll with advantage because I'm assuming you're using spells and stuff, since it sounded like that's what you're going to probably do.
24 for Tink. Oh, sorry, Foylan.
Oh, I was going to say Foylan will probably do some hunting in the meantime too, to get more meat for people to eat and pelts to sell and such.
Okay. Fenrir will help you with that.
Thrall continues to realize that she has no other skill set than adventure and continues to try to learn how to knit.
Okay.
Kai will probably utilize Soral's ability to talk to people, and because I imagine he's probably not going to do anything that's gainful, but a lot of like administrative stuff to kind of get people settled and that sort of thing. And he would definitely utilize Soral's ability to chat.
She's got that
And
covered.
Eddie would be very appreciative of that, since and use you and help use you in that capacity.
Because we're 100% dumping 200 people at his doorstep, so I want to make sure that it's as least amount of impact as possible.
Okay, so
I got a 22 on my performance roll.
22 for you. Jake, what did you get?
24.
24?
And a 26 for Ekris.
Nice.
Holy crap. So effectively, whatever you rolled, we're gonna say for the 2 days worth of time is gonna be the amount of gold pieces
Nice.
worth of stuff that you earn.
So the roll times 2, or that
No.
is what we earned for
That's what you
the 2
earn.
days. Okay.
Right. Normally you make a check like once a week. I'm kind of
Gotcha. Okay.
because admittedly you don't make as much in downtime activities typically as you do adventuring. almost like they built that into the game that way. But you're definitely able to make some money, and you definitely get a sense with the good graces being the heroes of oddity, as it were, that you're having that hype kind of helps to kind of push certain things through and what have you. But and then I guess if you want to worry about buying stuff or whatever, we can kind of do that. We don't necessarily need to do any shopping in game. We can worry about that when we're off camera if you want, or off stream, just so we're not boring the lovely folks that are watching us. But yeah, I think because of where things landing, and I don't necessarily know how much time the next kind of encounter will take, this is probably going to be a fairly good stopping point, unless there's anything else you guys want to do in the very end here before we kind of wrap up.
I do want to end with, before we disembark again for our second leg of the adventure, Kai wants to get everybody together and have a discussion.
Okay. Easy enough to do.
So he's going to get everybody together at probably the Silken Strand, because it's sort of a known quantity. And he's going to make sure that for dinner basically is the pretense to some degree.
Sure.
So after everybody's fed and what have you, he kind of, this is with Fenrir, Huelon, Akris, Ludema, Zeral, everybody, Tink. So it has been recently brought to my attention that I really suck at lying.
Sorry, the look from Zeral is just... Oh.
Love that.
And the attempt was made to obfuscate the truth. And as my dear lifelong companion has pointed out, it's not my forte. I suspect most of you have gleaned that I am not everything that I appear to be. And neither is Zeral. And that is largely because...
We're not?
We're not. The truth is difficult to explain fully, to such a degree that I hemmed and hawed a long time about how much of it to share. But as we have all been through an ordeal, and I have come to trust and like all of you, I feel it is important that I be as transparent as I can possibly be. He kind of looks over at Zeral. Is this just a rip off the bandage situation?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's so complicated about this.
Whether or not they're going to it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if they believe us or not. If they don't,
Not from around here.
No, we're not.
I can
like you
safely say used to be a god.
Dun dun dun.
I'm not entirely sure. The point is that with events as they unfolded in the last year or so, it came to my realization that any connection that I had to this place, to the people, was so long ago that I had no context as to what it was like to be mortal. And I realized that to serve the position that I was in, I needed to understand. And so I am living as a mortal until such a time that I feel I have achieved that level of understanding.
Or he gets himself killed.
Or I get myself killed.
Ekris raises his hand and asks, so you can just decide and become a god again?
No, it's not that simple. I made it so that the stakes were higher than that for me. I can't just leave and become who I was. If I could just leave, then it's too easy. The stakes aren't high enough at that point. Because that's really what it is to be mortal. It's to have that level of finality, right? It's that sense of the fact that you can die, that you are mortal, that there is an end. And I can't really connect with that. I can't really resonate with that if I could just leave whenever I wanted to.
And it becomes a game versus a...
An exercise in understanding.
There we go.
If I die here now, there's a chance I could go back and be what I was. But I'd have to die. Now, whether that's me getting myself killed or very old age remains to be seen. But I have zero interest in leaving until I've done what I've come here to do.
And what you've come here to do is get a better understanding of this world?
Yeah.
While I understand your reasoning, if you wish to understand a mortal perspective, I would focus less on the eventual end of death and more on what is done before as well as what will continue afterwards. But that is all I will say on this matter.
I understand the former bit. I'm not sure I understand the latter.
You seem to be suffering under a wrong conclusion. That when a mortal reaches their death, that is all, there is no more. A mortal life carries on far after their death. We do not simply live while we are alive.
Well, perhaps that's something I can come to understand.
You get a little whine from Fenrir as he kind of lays his head in Sorrel's lap, which takes up the majority
All of her lap and some of her torso.
Right.
Yeah.
Bell's now petting.
Oh,
And
like,
Fenrir's like, I'm smarter now, and I'm starting to understand this. My brain hurts.
I love it.
It's okay. I give you scritchy scratches and comfort, okay?
So this begs the question, what god were you?
Like, who are you really, though?
Are you gonna tell him?
I
It's
feel like
really ironic.
I feel like I owe it to them.
Oh yeah, I think you should too. I just think it's ironic.
Just come out with it, lad. Are you not talking yet?
Who that? The ironic thing is I am Kai. Before I was ever a god, I was Kai Ravenskull.
Yeah.
But the god I became, who's known to this world as Zeratsu.
I'm sorry. I just see like this massive wolf head and these little sprite arms. Woo! Like
I'm adding that to my list.
Yeah.
At hearing that, Ekris blanches, like his whole face blanches, and he says, "So where do I get my God-given abilities from if you are here and not in your realm?"
It's a recent occurrence, so.
The ins and outs of it, I honestly couldn't explain to you right now with mortal brain. All I can say with any certainty is weebly wobbly timey wimey.
I mean, more like
You
wibbly
stole
wobbly
that.
cosmic power, but yeah. It's...
In space.
You will continue to get your powers, as will all clerics and whatnot of Zeratsu.
So you don't know.
There's a lot I don't remember. Again, mortal brain. There's only so much you can comprehend inside gray matter.
Remember who we are in most of our adventures, but there's some details that are a bit fuzzy.
I
Oh,
remember
for
a lot of-
clarification, I'm not a god. Never have been.
just excessively immortal.
Yeah, and I hang out with gods.
You
And
see Fenrir's head picks up. I am.
yes.
You are, in fact, the bestest of boys. And that he would say to Fenrir.
Fenrir doesn't know if he should growl at that or be proud, so just kind of just...
Little from column A, little from column B.
Little from column A, little from column B, and then just kind of leans over to get more scritches from Sorrel.
You are the bestest.
Waylon's actually not sure whether to be amused or affronted either.
That's fair.
Waylon, you can't even remember to keep your pants on.
I need you to understand that regardless
Neither
of...
can Fenrir.
Yes, but Fenrir doesn't need to wear pants in social circles. If I'm being entirely honest with you, Fuelan, I don't particularly care if you wear pants, but I want you to know, all of you, the reason I am trusting you with this information. Because I'd rather you didn't spread it around. Is because of the time that we've spent together. And because you have all shown yourselves to be amazing people.
Y'all have trustworthy faces.
You all had the
Pretty cool,
big
you
bright
know.
PC light over your head.
Oh, you're honest and true and all that good stuff.
That said, I will take what is done here in the mortal sense. So please, I recognize it may be difficult, but just don't treat me any differently than you did before. And I'm not going to hold it against you. If it's indeed something I don't agree with.
What matters is you are mortal now. I have treated you as such. You are such, so I shall continue to treat you as such. As for telling others, it is not my story to tell.
You know, there's some really fucked up shit here for you to fix. I'm just saying.
I imagine Kai would actually laugh at that, to be honest with you. Yes, I guess me coming here is so that I can understand how. And what needs to be fixed.
I think Ekris is... Oh, go ahead.
Nope, I'm done. Go ahead.
Ekris kind of regards Kai for a moment, stands up and says, I need some time to process this, because if my powers are not derived from a god itself, I need to think on the implications of that. You are my friend, and will continue to be. But your existence and what you've just told me has shaken some fundamental truth within me. And so Ekris will get up and excuse himself and then go to his quarters. Cue existential crisis a la Allie Beardsley in Fantasy High.
Yes.
No, this player absolutely gets that. Thank you. Do you remember the reveal from the main campaign?
So good.
I feel it. I feel your pain. Ooh.
Nope.
I would say that in the montage, like in the desert when they were setting up camp, when Kai was assisting with that, there was very much shades of Saul the Younger, when they were billeting the troops.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and any consistent watcher like of this grand movie or TV show that we're making would like, that's Saul.
That reminds me of, yeah.
That's all Kai had to say. So
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Then I think that's probably, as you guys kind of finish off your evening of food and revelations, I think that's probably a good spot for us to end it then for today. Just want to say thank you all for joining us on a much earlier than we're normally used to episode. We appreciate your patience with the tech goblins and have appreciated whatever appeasements you have given to them to allow us to continue. I will now shoot it out to the players as far as things we want to advertise, support.
all right, Schmoopsy gives the short plug since you plugged it earlier.
All right. I am Kit, the Seven-Tail Fox. Seven-Tail Fox on Twitch. TALE, like the stories, because that's what we like to share. I'll probably be streaming a little bit later on, so if you'd like to stop by, have some cozy vibes, we'd love to have you.
Go for
Can
it.
listen to Chronically Witchy wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, and then we will be back on this channel tomorrow at 1 p.m. CDT, because I hate daylight savings time, but CDT. And then I will be streaming my character building / bullshitting craziness on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. Again, on this channel. Give us a follow. We're going to go to our Thank You for Watching page. I'm going to raid... Ooh, it looks like PAX has a stream, so we're going to raid PAX, because we can.
Because you can.
Because I can. We will see you guys tomorrow, and we will see you for this particular game probably in 2 weeks. So, thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.